Welcome,
Welcome.
everybody. Guy, Chris,
So welcome.
don't hold back.
I
Let
won't.
her rip. Hey, welcome, everybody. It's IFB at the Fleet Broadcasting, New York, Pete. I'm here with my buddy and co-producer, partner, co-host. Hello.
Hi. I'm checking up on our second guest that just popped in.
You're all distracted, man. That's okay. It's
I got
lights.
things
It's
going
about the
on.
magic
I
lights.
haven't had enough beer tonight yet, so
That's the problem when a Cylon has just this one eye and it
that's right.
moves back and forth.
That's all it needs though. I'm
That's why
scanning.
you don't know what's going on, bro. You can't handle more than one. That's it. That's your down, and that's why you guys crash and burn. Chris, get the
Yep.
Cylon boot out. You need some help tonight.
That's right. He'll be next to me.
Okay. Yeah, don't. That's right.
Him
Don't
and
don't let him come out too. Don't put him too far away. He's got to be within hand reach.
by your command. By your command. By your
Okay.
command.
Anyway, so
I need beer.
we have John One with us tonight. He's going to bring us up to speed with a whole bunch of pop entertainment and all kinds of comic news and stuff. That's great. And we also have JC Vaughn. We promised we were going to bring you uh, JC now for a while. He's here with us, waiting in the green room, and we get to talk all about the comic books and the books and the writings and all this great stuff that he's been working on. As a matter of fact, Chris, we did a whole thing on Realm, and we
Yes.
covered all the issues, right? So
Yeah.
we get to talk about them tonight.
Move that
So
microphone
everybody,
closer.
welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Chris, are you ready?
I think I'm ready. As soon as you move your microphone a little closer.
Okay, I can move the microphone closer,
There you
but
go.
that's as close as it gets.
Well, that's all
How's
it
that?
takes.
Is that better?
Just a little bit closer. Now
A little
don't
bit
be
closer?
shy.
Yeah. All right.
What,
Anyway,
what is that from?
I don't know, man. You're asking me hard questions.
That's a
Mediocre moderator.
commercial.
Do you know what that's from?
It's a commercial. Uh, don't be shy. Everybody
I
get a
don't-
little bit closer.
Yeah.
Arid
Okay.
extra dry. Ha! I remembered.
Oh
Get a little
boy,
bit closer with arid
You-
extra dry.
you amazed yourself. That's a little scary. Okay, cool.
That's
And tonight,
that's a 70s 80s.
oh, that's all us. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
That's-
We're gonna be toasting,
oh, okay.
right?
Hang on, Pete. Whoop. Close up
And
on
we have-
Chimay.
Yeah, Chimay.
Sounds like a girl.
Never heard of it. I thought it was perfume or some kind of,
Right.
I don't know, exotic European beer, which it is.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
a Belgian beer. It's really small
It's
print.
Belgian beer.
Hang on, let me get the other one out.
What other one? What are you talking about?
There we go.
Oh my God. What the heck is that?
This is a beer.
That's
What you
That's
got to
too big.
taste.
that's too big. This is the colonial size, my friend.
This is the
what normal
Cylon size.
people-
We're good.
Cylon
I can
size.
actually read this one.
Jesus.
All right, so hey, you can hold that. I'm going to read this one
Okay,
here.
because this is a free plug. We're not right. This is
Free
us.
plug for those those monks in the monastery.
Yes, the
Uh,
monks pray for us.
Yes.
We need all the prayers.
This is it says this registered trademark Tapist certifies that this is brewed within the walls of an existing Tapist monastery under the control of of a Tapist community. A major part of the sales revenue is used by the monks to support charitable works. Look at that. We're helping out people by drinking beer. I'm going to drink more of this
Yes,
now.
we are.
The exceptional yeast isolated by Father Theodore, combined with
Ooh.
the purity of the highly protected water of the Abbey's wells, gives Chimay its unique richness since 1862. Chimay's secondary
Nice.
fermented ales have neither been pasteurized nor filtered, and only natural ingredients are used. To fully appreciate the robust character of the Chimay Grand Reserve, see vintage on cork. Serve slightly chilled in a wide mouth glass or a
Oh
mug.
boy. What even
Contains
tells you?
barley and wheat. Contents under pressure. Do not
Okay.
litter.
That's cool.
So this is an
Very cool.
authentic Tapist product, and it helps out the monks in their charitable things. So I feel better about drinking more of it. I think I.
Okay, that's a good excuse. Well, it's got the little Belgian flag up on there. That's
Yeah, it's got the
cool.
little Belgian
All right.
flag on it. That's
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
bottom.
All right.
Okay, so
Cool. All right, let's do it.
It's time to open these things.
John 1 said Dentine. Sean said Arid. Uh, Paul Roder, greetings, everyone. Carl, hello, all. This got to
Mediocre
be
modeler says it's a mini keg. It's only a pint and a half.
a mini cake. Yeah. Hey,
Actually,
Clay,
this
thanks
is
for
a.
joining us.
I bet you
If
if
you drink
Baz
too
was
much
on.
European beer,
Yeah, Baz isn't
European
on.
beer, it is. That's correct. Whoa.
Baz would
Oh,
say.
come
Baz would say this is the right size.
on.
I'm
Come on.
sure of it. So Baz
Let's
will
go.
watch if you're watching
Come on.
in the back. All right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
All right. Here we go. Let's do this.
And here we go.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Go ahead. Oh, wow. It's dark. Oh, boy. Oh.
This is one of my favorite beers. I feel good when I drink it because I'm making charitable contributions.
Yes, to the abbey or the monastery,
To
right?
the monastery.
Yes.
I can't wait. This is good stuff.
All right. Let's do this.
All right. So, as we always say, we appreciate our fans. We appreciate you being here. And as always, the fans in the fandom, if not for them, there wouldn't be all the cool stuff that goes on. Mr. Vaughn, that we have on tonight, would not have a job. Of course, he would probably have a job, but just nobody would read anything. And then we'd like to say fans fuel the fleet. So here's to everybody, the creators, the readers, and the, I guess, the fans. Did you freeze up, Pete?
The fans.
You're standing there. Like, okay.
I'm waiting for you to say the magic word. Let's go.
Ah. Oh, so fans fuel the fleet, everybody. Here you go.
Here's to you guys. Thanks for joining us. I'm waiting. Actually, it's very good.
Oh, it's
Very
great
good.
beer.
It's really good. Cheers to everybody. Mediocre monitor. Carl, tonight is kind of special. Lowbrow, it is not. There is Galactica Clown Shoes, beer brewed in Boston. Paul, we have had that on. We must have missed you, but we had that on. So, everybody, Paul Roeder from the Colonial Warriors, admin and founder. I'm waiting for Lola to sign on. Mediocre modeler, the builder, Sean, the Battlestar Bulletin Board, Baz, builds by Baz, full scale Mark II Colonial Viper.
Oh, Baz did join us.
And everybody that comes on, as they come on, we'll just give a heads up. I missed, let's see, Paul, yeah, Clay, more high and brow than low and brow. There you go. That's right. Very good. So, everybody, thanks for joining us live. For those of you that are on here, make sure you give us a shout out. And let's, Chris, we have John 1 in the wings, and I believe he's all set, waiting, ready to go, right?
Well, we'll find out in a second.
We'll find out in a second. John.
Let's see if his audio works. This is usually where we run into problems. All right, John. Let's give me a countdown. Ready, John? Say something.
Come on, John. You could do this.
Hey, guys. How are you?
All right.
All
Very
right.
good.
He's on.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes,
All
we
right.
can. Yes. Very good.
All right. Hang on.
Oh, I got my own promo. All right.
Yes.
Give me a second. Where's it at?
Ready.
There it is.
All right. Yep. Got it.
That's supposed to switch over to him. I got to fix that. All right. Well, we'll just automatically switch him over. And
Okay. Well, it
here
went
we
to
have
me, and I was drinking.
John
Thanks.
1.
All
Hi,
right,
John.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
How are you guys? How you
How are
doing?
you?
PowerPoint ready
Good.
here, too. All right.
All
I'm
right,
set.
guys. All right. Guillermo del Toro's much anticipated movie night, Mare Alley, will hit the theaters December 17th. It's a follow up for his other movie, Out of Water, whatever it was. Check out the trailer.
Whatever it was. It must not have been very good.
It was. Yeah. It was all right.
It was all right.
I woke up. They said, yeah. When I woke up, they said it was good. So. We'll hit theaters December 17th. Check out the trailer. The wait is over. Ghostbusters Afterlife is finally out tomorrow in theaters. Rumors and a leaked photo show Professor X in the new upcoming Marvel movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I guess this is how the Marvel will introduce the mutants to their MCU universe. And I want to see Wolverine go after Iron Man, but we'll see. Well, speaking of Doctor Strange, he's also in your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's next movie, No Way Home, in theaters December 17th also. Another Bird will appear this Thanksgiving. Disney's Hawkeye will debut on Disney, plus November 24th.
Oops. You don't have a Hawkeye.
Oh.
Yeah, we do.
I thought, we do. AMC has announced it's developing a TV series based on the Anne Rice interview with the vampire.
Pete shuffled them wrong. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's Pete's fault. That's right. Well, blah, blah, blah. Well, info. And more to follow. Comics has come to the small screen. Hulu's Hit Monkey, which came out yesterday, is about a snow monkey who teams up with the ghost of an American hitman to avenge his family. Jason Sudeikis and George Takei. Oh my! Please let George be the monkey's voice.
Oh yes,
I saw it today. It looks pretty good. It's on Hulu.
Oh my gosh! Hit Monkey. Oh my god!
Hitman Monkey. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
All right.
He's a pretty.
I may have to get Hulu just to see that one.
Oh, it's good if you want to, if you want to check your brain in there somewhere and just watch it. It's pretty good. Now to go to the Star Trek universe, they have been very busy. Prodigy has been renewed for a second season. Discovery's fourth season looks great. Something happened with Netflix today. It's going to Paramount, so certain people might not be able to get to season 4 because it's going to get knocked out a year.
Yeah, that's the overseas people. Most of the people in England. I'm not sure if Baz is going to have that problem or not.
I hope not.
Down under, we'll find out.
And Strange New Worlds has wrapped season 1 production and has been greenlighted for several more seasons. We still haven't got a release date for them. But Captain Pike, I hope you can deliver. Now for comics. Star Trek. It looks pretty good. Hopefully it's going to be good with Spock and original. So the pictures and the previews look pretty good. So I'm looking forward to that. Now for comics, Star Trek has also been busy. IW Comics will release a one-shot series based on the alien species we see in Star Trek. It will focus on the Klingons. It will be out in February 2022. We can hear about Kahless the Unforgettable, how they learned how to eat gok. I would eat gok live worms. Oh, that's pretty good. Long live the Empire.
Okay.
Welcome back to Dark Horse, as they will be going back to a galaxy far, far away. Yes, Dark Horse will be bringing new Star Wars comics and graphic novels coming spring 2022. A little technical glitch there. And Marvel's Devil Reign, May #1, will be out in December. The Kingpin, now Mayor Fisk, sets his sights on the superheroes who live in New York City. It's a 1 to 6 part series. Looks really good. And he gets especially when Typhoid Mary's in it and all the other heroes of Daredevil. Stay tuned. December 2nd. It should be coming out. And also in December, get Justice League 2021 Annual, Return to Wonder Woman, leading up to some good stories in Justice League. That's coming out next month, too. Some upcoming conventions in the area. MomoCon, December 18th, Atlanta, Georgia. And ChessieCon, November 26th to 28th. MomoCon is in Baltimore, Maryland, is ChessieCon. According to reports on sites and fandom, a fan-based Battlestar Galactica movie will be released on March 4th, 2022, directed by Justin Lin. It's backed up by Bad Robot and Legendary Pictures. The plot is to be announced. If this is true, the gods of Kobol are pleased. Hopefully more to come in the future. On that note, friends, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful for this year. I'm very thankful for doing this, meeting new friends, and giving you guys news. It's very good. I'm thankful for my family as well. I'm looking forward to having the day off. Finally.
Hey, the fan-based Battlestar Galactica thing. Do you know anything more about that?
It was the plot is to be announced. So they're going to start doing it from I think it's going to be a review of the 2012 movie. I'm not that sure, but they haven't been giving me that much information on it. It just came out like a couple of hours ago. The release date. It's going to be Legendary Pictures and by Bad Robot, so they're producing it, but they're not much on the internet about it.
They're pretty big.
Yeah,
yeah.
So hopefully it's going to be a good movie, and they're going to release it, but they haven't released the plot line. We can reach out
to them and see if we can get
or anyone's in it.
Yeah. So John, follow that up if you can.
Yeah, I'll keep track on it and see what's going on and see what I can get out of it.
Yeah, see if you get some contacts. We'll reach out to them and see if they can come on the show and before it comes out, and we'll stir up the fandom.
Yeah, I sent out some emails before today, so hopefully I'll get some answers.
All right, cool.
That's Thanks, it for all. You guys have a good Thanksgiving. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, John.
All right.
Yep.
All right, John, that was awesome. Now, I was not aware of this, so
I
this
wouldn't
this
either.
came
That's
up.
cool.
That was a good scoop, right? So everybody out there, man, you heard. I think you may have heard it first here now. IFB breaking news. So that's a good one, especially for all the Galactica fans and everybody out there. Sweet, right, Paul? Paul's like, yep, sweet, absolutely. Let's keep our fingers crossed because we've heard this before. So um, any new Galactica is good Galactica. It opens up the doors, it keeps it going, it keeps it alive, and it gives us hope to have all different types of Battlestar then come out. Right? Remember, as long as Galactica's alive and we're getting it out there, it doesn't matter if it's a re-envisioned or the classic or not. It doesn't matter. As long as it's alive, we have hope of getting all the different Galacticas we want. So it's really, really important. But in the meantime,
Yeah,
we
we
have
had this
been
discussion
covering
earlier too.
the yeah, right?
Yeah. I mean, even if you
So
don't like the new Battlestar Galactica, it is still Battlestar Galactica, and if the
it is. And we support the franchise, right, guys? That's the
right,
whole idea behind this.
even if you don't
You know,
like it,
we yeah, I mean, so
they're not gonna make another one if they're like, oh well, everybody poo pooed on this one, so
no, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely not. We got to
you
support.
you divide your support, you lose half your people.
You know what Paul Roeder says? He says more merchandise, and it includes uh,
Merchandising.
classic stuff too. In the end, it all ends up bringing everything all together back to life, and that's what we love, man. We love this stuff. So, right, look, Star Trek is one of the most successful American franchises in history, and there's so many different types. From the original, the animated, the new
Yep.
animated, all the stuff that goes on, and we all have our favorites. And you guys know that mine is classic Trek. William Shatner's Captain James T. Kirk is mine, and that's okay. I love the new stuff. We watch the new stuff too, and we all have favorites. Nothing wrong with that. Chris and I were slightly partial to classic BSG, and that's why we have a show.
Yeah,
You
we
guys
grew
should
up there.
already know
Yeah.
that, right? We've mentioned it before. If it wasn't for the original Battlestar Galactica, Chris and I, we wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be doing this. So we're really, really grateful for the fans. And I was saying, Chris,
I'd be in the corner talking to myself about Battlestar Galactica more than likely, and polishing my
exactly.
chrome helmet.
So we saved Chris. You see everybody? We
See,
saved
thank you,
Chris from
save me.
yes.
My
And
wife would
so
put me in an institution as long as I could keep wearing my Cylon helmet. I'd be good.
yeah, right on Caprica. We'll put you right on Caprica, bro. Um, however, we have been building up to today, everyone, and we've been talking about it
I
now
need a drum
for
roll thing.
weeks, right?
Yeah,
We we were doing what?
I was trying to
What
do a
happened?
drum roll.
Okay. You're losing control of yourself again.
You
You need to
actually
reprogram.
believe that, Daddy Drivel?
There you go. There you go. Chris is only happy when he's pressing buttons, but Realm Press, that's a soft spot in our hearts. We went over, right? We were doing the comic books themselves, and Chris had the overhead camera, and we got to look at these, and we kept telling you that we're going to get someone that was personally involved, that knows the behind, and we got JC Vaughn is actually here with us, and we're lucky to have him,
And he
and
hasn't
we
run
got
away
a
yet.
chance to ask him questions, right? I think JC is okay with that. So let's bring him on, Chris. Don't wait anymore. Come on, let's get this guy on, man.
Look at that cross.
JC, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, guys.
Well, we have been discussing the Realm series now, JC, for a while. And like I mentioned to you just before you came on, we were doing an overhead, and Chris was going through, the stories themselves. Some of them weren't completed, but you were instrumental. You were involved on many levels. You edited, you wrote, and I hope you can, clue us in on some of this your maybe your favorite stories. But I got to tell you, this stuff,
Oh,
man,
it's amazing.
it it is. It's just super. We did all of these. and the artwork
Every
the
single Realm
story.
presses we went through, it's been
I gotta
whoever
say,
did the
one of the
editing on
things,
those things did an outstanding job.
well, listen, one of the great things about it was I was coming from a fan perspective. I am a professional. I work in the industry. I've been at it for a lot of years, but the thing that I think though with Galactica, I'm still that kid laying on his floor in his bedroom while the Camp David peace accords interrupted the pilot on the
Yeah,
East
we did
Coast
that.
and in the Central Time Zone, waiting for President Carter and President Sadat and Prime Minister Begin to stop talking so we could get back to Battlestar Galactica. So I was just laying on my floor with a legal pad drawing vipers.
Oh,
Um, so to say I've been a fan since the beginning is fairly accurate.
And it makes a difference, JC. You know, your vision and what you brought to your work, it shows. You know, when you're a fan, it's not the same as just a regular job. And you know, it's not that people don't do their jobs well, but when you're a fan, there's a little extra.
We had there's I've had a couple of opportunities to write properties that I really enjoyed. We did it with most recently with Stargate Atlantis and Stargate Universe. Before that, Mark Haynes and I, who was our publisher for Galactica, wrote 24 for IDW. And in all of these cases, it's my belief if you don't love the property, don't do it. Uh,
oh, that's awesome.
there's too many bad comics out there, and there's too many good comics out there to use as comparisons for people who shouldn't do it. Now I got to say, uh, I love a lot of the Marvel comics, particularly any of the ones that Walter Simonson touched of their Galactica run. They stand up. They're still good to this day. Or the stuff that Roger McKenzie wrote and other people. Not all of them are of uniform quality, but they particularly anything Walter did just outstanding, and I think still has energy. And energy is the thing that I would say I did like about Rob Liefeld's uh, Maximum Press run of Galactica. Rob was a fan first and foremost of this too, and I didn't necessarily love all the story direction ideas, but I'll tell you how cool the guy was. When we took over the license, the initial owners of Realm Press and my friend Jim Kohoric, who was our main writer, uh, did it at first, and then we took over. Then we took over the company when it was sort of floundering. Uh, I was sitting with Rob at a convention, and this is a guy who had just had the license right before us, and I mentioned that we were doing it. And he goes, "Oh, if you want me to do a cover, just let me know."
That's cool.
Wow.
And I mean, well, how collegial, and I really think very highly of that, and I think that's the approach you have to have when you do something like this. Mark Haynes, who's been my co-writer for 24 and for Stargate, uh, also for Galactica was our continuity cop. He's a fan's fan. He was very involved in Star Trek fandom. He uh, was just, I mean, to tell you how dedicated the guy was, he would spend hours trying to come up with the right spelling of sound effects,
Excellent.
and really worked on it. Taught himself lettering comic books to do our books, and that was all really great stuff. And he had a real ability to actually make the words sound like the sound effect, and it was pretty cool. And we also had, we were on a learning curve. We were working, Mark and I, our see, I'm going to ramble a little.
Oh, go ahead,
I'm
please.
Unlike a
Please.
lot of writers, I have a day job that I love. My bread and butter is the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide. I've been at Gemstone Publishing for over 25 years, and so I basically run the day-to-day operations of a book I grew up reading. So it's an amazing thing. Well, I met Mark there, and then Jim worked for our sister company, Diamond Comic Distributors, and he was what's called a brand manager. And So he handled our stuff, and we all sort of discovered, oh, we're all Battlestar Galactica fans. And then Jim started writing the comic book, and he sort of brought us along, and then we ended up taking the company, and particularly Mark did, and it was there were so many fun things that came up, and we made so many mistakes that inform us to this day. I think why I am really good at picking covers and really good at deciding when we listen to the fans and when we have the obligation to lead the fans. I think that there's a really big component uh, of all the stuff we learned on doing Galactica, and I so want to do it again because I could do it so much better.
Well, let's do it.
JC, what do you mean? Like you want to do it now? Does that mean your vision might be um, linked to the classic?
Oh
Would you
yeah,
want to?
without a doubt. I loved, really loved the second series while it was airing, and now I've reached the point after several rewatchings where I've started picking where it falls apart for me. Initially I used to say stop 4 episodes before the end, and now I'm sort of like stop after season two. But I also can hopscotch episodes now and still find stuff that I really like. And the one thing I want to say is I'm not talking anything negative about individual performances or even individual writers. I think they're superb. I like the viewpoint that you guys have that anything that gets us more Galactica is favorable. So in that regard, I'll temper what I would say about Galactica 1980. But
Well, there's some things that just
um,
shouldn't be talked about.
but but in all seriousness, I look at Galactica and I see what it was supposed to be and what it could have been if they didn't rush it. And I'm sure you guys are very well acquainted that they weren't even supposed to make the decision to go to series until
Right.
they had aired the original pilot and the two-hour movies,
Right.
and ABC gave it the go ahead after 1 hour was completed.
It was just
And
that good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what? But they were finishing it the day that it was airing,
Yeah.
and it was super expensive for its time. They could do if they were blending practical effects and special and CGI now, they could do it considerably cheaper based on $2021.
Right.
But uh, the basic underpinnings of the thing is so freaking good.
Oh yeah.
There's so much there still to explore.
Oh
Yeah. We
yeah,
like to call it the buddy movie. So I have.
yeah. The buddy movie,
Yeah.
just like our show, the Buddy Show.
Yeah. I have a.
But
I think it's a good buddy movie. It's wholesome. It's got some fun. It's got some sexiness in it with Athena. Oh, Athena.
Sure.
Um,
oh
Athena.
boy,
Anyways,
JC, Chris has a major crush with Athena, so
she
Well,
she
then
she
then
has to love
then then,
Cylons.
then obviously he's not entirely wrong in the head.
So yeah, so I mean they had the buddies and they had they had some fun, they had the rascal, they had everything in it that that everybody can identify with. I think it was really good. The second one, well, we'll say Galactica 1980. I like to call the after school special Battlestar Galactica the after school special. And that was probably pretty much because of the time slot.
Do we pretty much agree that there's one really good episode?
Yeah, it's
yes.
probably Starbuck.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Planet Starbuck. And
that's it.
And then the new one, it's edgy, it's dark, it's got similar things to the regular Battlestar Galactica, but it's just not. It's not the buddy. They have some buddy stuff in there, but they
Listen,
yeah.
listen. I agree with all the criticism of it, and I still have a pretty high regard for the
Oh yeah,
performances in it.
it's
And I
amazing,
think particularly
and the writing was good.
for those of us that love the original, particularly Richard Hatch's Tom Zarek,
Yes.
his
Yep.
badass performance, much bigger range than he was
Yeah,
ever allowed to have on the original, and that there's a hint. There's more than a hint. There's solid elements of it in the pilot where when Zach dies, that you
Right.
see Richard having a little bit of range,
Yeah.
but he really had a chance to play against his type, and he really rose to the opportunity.
Oh, agreed. Totally. So, well, I just wanted to mention, JC, that Sean Shallow from the Battlestar Bulletin Board, he's the admin and founder. He just mentioned that he really enjoyed some of the maximum, and
Yeah.
we're going to be doing these. We actually met Mr. Liefeld at one of the conventions that we covered, actually New York Comic Con,
Yep.
and
Uh-huh.
he said that he was going to come on to the show if we could get through to him. He told
Yeah.
us up front
Let's
that he
start
was
that
going to.
now. Hey, Mr. Liefeld, if you're listening, I've been reaching out to you like you asked me to on social media, but you have not responded yet.
We want you,
Rob is
please.
Rob is a popular guy.
Yes, he's very
Yes,
I've
he
popular.
worked with him
is.
as a cover
Absolutely.
artist for the Overstreet Guide, and he is, you know what, something that is still the same as the early days of Image. He is a much in demand individual. I urge you guys to pursue this because he's a legit Galactica fan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he. That's what he said to us at the table. We had him
Yeah,
sign the one of the Battlestar Galacticas, the
yeah.
Maxim Press ones, and
And he flipped out
he's like,
when he
"Oh my
saw
gosh!"
these. Yeah, he was
He's
like,
like,
for this,
so we asked him.
I
It's like,
definitely,
yeah, we asked him,
I
so would you
do
like
it.
to come on the show? It says this is what we do.
Yeah,
This is who we are, and we do not for profit. Yes, we're not trying to make any money off of you, and we just want to hear your story
which
about Battlestar
which in his
Galactica.
world is a rarity.
Yeah, our main goal is to to talk to people who have something to do with the fandoms, not just Battlestar Galactica, and actually, I guess, memorialize their stories
And
in
actually
video.
be fans.
Yeah, and let
yeah.
me be a fan too. And we do fans. Yeah, we got Baz out there. He
You
built
know,
the Viper in his garage.
one of the great things about the opportunity to do Galactica, and particularly to work with Jim Kohoric and Mark Haynes, was I was working with two other fans, and in that regard, there was an element where we were all self-editing because we all knew the continuity and all didn't want to do anything to violate it, and adhere to it as best we could, and yet still make it bigger. And more or less some of the stuff we succeeded at.
Uh,
Definitely.
JC, we have, like I mentioned before, Baz, builds by Baz, full scale Mark II Colonial Viper. He's live with us from Australia. And Carl, uh, Colin Schmidt, he's with Team BSG Viper as well. Also leaders in their own part of Galactica fandom. So it's awesome to you guys are joining us live. Thanks for coming on. JC, bringing you back to the realm. How did you guys um, come up with the stories? And what was your role?
That's a great question. The way we came up with the stories was largely, first we came up with the framework, and we decided that we were going to be season 3. We decided that the first incarnation of Realm was season 2. Jim had been involved with that
Mm-hmm.
and come on pretty quickly in the process as writer. And then when he brought us in and we took over the company, uh, we said we're doing season 3. We're going to do the things that we believe are right in line with where they were going. We're going to do some of the things that we've always wanted to see, and we're going to take uh, a slightly more serious tone than they were able to do on network television, but not all dark and gritty. Uh, and Jim was the main writer, and I was mainly a sounding board. Where that would change is we had, in a number of cases, artists who were new to comics, incredible talent levels, but new to following scripts. We generally speaking provided full scripts, which means we're telling them how many panels on a page and
Oh
all
wow.
this, and we would expect some good natured or argument back and forth about how something should be done if they were going to make changes. That didn't always happen. Sometimes, right at deadline time, we would get pages in, and I would go down the hill from my apartment to where Mark Haynes lived, and we would letter overnight pages that had to go to the printer the next day.
Oh my gosh.
And that's when Mark said, like, we have a series of famous quotes, and I'll save most of them for when the guys can be on with us. But the best quote I've ever heard in comic book productions was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I was laying on the floor re-dialoguing pages just ahead of him because we're trying to make it fit to what the art was. And uh, Mark just sort of wearily says over his shoulder, "Which one of these 4 panels is panel 6?" And
JC,
and
speaking of panels,
yes,
now that you're like into that, um, that Chris, uh, my partner Chris and I, we acquired some original artwork from Chris Scalf himself.
and it
So
looks that just his stuff is so gorgeous, and he really pursued photorealism with still maintaining storytelling ability in it.
Yeah, but I bet it took them a while to do those. With
Yeah,
for
and if you
sure.
and you guys have noticed how heavy those art boards are
Yeah.
compared to a regular comic book page.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that is why Realm Press went out of business.
No
FedEx
way.
bills, FedEx bills,
wow,
stuff that we
Oh.
wouldn't even have today because we would send it over the internet.
No
wow,
We were a
way.
small press company, and we acted like we were big shots and had a FedEx account. And
oh,
we'd get these packages from our artists at the last minute of 20 of those pages. So you can imagine what they were like to overnight.
Oh yeah.
And here we were,
Especially
just
back
three
then.
guys working around our day jobs, and that just sort of killed us because we were actually, compared to comics today, we were selling a fair amount of copies.
so JC, what if anything, did you ever handle this that I'm holding? This,
No, that to me, if I'm correct, that's from before we. Now
That's
Jim
from the
Kohoric would
special
have been
edition.
involved in that, but that's before we joined the company.
Yeah, that's the
but did you
special
handle
edition.
these things?
Yeah. Oh, we would have, sure,
Hmm.
absolutely. We would get the pages in, we would scan them, and see, today you would just send a file,
Right.
um, and that's virtually I've worked with an artist who was in New York, and then when he finished, I sent a cover to a colorist in Tokyo,
Oh wow,
and it and then in and then it was drawn, it was colored when I got up in the morning.
wow.
And yeah, and I could use penciler, inker, all these places, people in letterer in different places. I have colorists in Malaysia.
Wow.
It's, yeah, it's remarkable, and there's no postage.
No need for that FedEx account.
Is this like
Yeah.
what does they call it? Fiverr?
The internet
Yeah,
age,
I,
yeah.
Chris, is
Well,
that
like,
what you're
listen,
saying?
anything that we can send, we use various things, but there's all sorts of just services where you can just upload the stuff and it transfers to them, and it's wonderful. And you can still send physical pages if you need to, if you've got somebody who wants to work that way. You just have to build the time into your process.
yeah, we ran into a couple of comic book artists and a couple of the conventions that were they were great writers, but they weren't artists. So they would
Hmm.
sub out sub out all of their artwork. And
Oh yeah, generally speaking, I'm paid not to draw.
Is
me
that good or bad?
too. I'm not paid for it. They just tell me not to. The stick
Yeah,
figures.
JC,
it's much more, it's a national security thing with me.
Yeah.
They don't want me drawing.
no, I beg to disagree because you didn't. We met some individuals that are putting out some fantastic comic books, and they do stick figures and send it out, and it comes back like anime. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
send it out to like a fiver.
I understand that. I'm not one of them.
JC, what would it take, since we're rolling here and we're we got you reminiscing about the realm and the like, what would it take from the fans, from us, to help you get Galactica back in comic book?
That's a really good question. Right now, I don't know the state of the license right now for what they call classic Galactica. I think we're a little liberal with the term classic these days, but I that's the one I want to do. If you guys went through all the realm stuff, Eve of Destruction,
Yes.
I know the whole story. I've never told the whole story, but there was a whole mini series that was going to come behind that. And and I think one of the things about it is I don't know that I was storyteller enough to do it back then. Even if things had worked out that I could have done it, I don't know that it would have been great. Now I want to tell two stories. I want to tell that story, which is the prequel to Battlestar Galactica, and I want to tell Galactica Finds Earth.
Whoa.
Mark Haynes and I have had the scenes for the opening of Galactica Finds Earth, and I don't know actually what the title of that one would be, but that's what we call it. We've been telling each other our little snippets of that story since we stopped doing Galactica. Now that one, I got to tell you, the what's that one called? Is that not? It was going to be number 4, but I think it's called the special
Centurion Prime.
Like Centurion Prime.
Yep.
All right.
This is Eve of Destruction.
Eve of Destruction, which
that's Centurion Prime.
Matt Bush, who was another huge Galactica fan, drew that one and just aces. Centurion Prime. There was a number of things that went wrong doing that issue, but it was inspired by one of the issues at Marvel, and but we wanted to do our own twist on it. And I think story-wise, Jim did a phenomenal job. It came out great. I think I adjusted the pacing a little bit of it, and then Mike Malbrough, who is now a pretty celebrated children's writer, artist, author. He drew that book in like 24 hours.
What?
Wow.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something you could only do when you're young and stupid. And he probably
it must have been 24 straight hours.
It seriously was like about 27 hours with like a 3-hour nap.
Wow.
That's what those kids can do with that Mountain Dew and the energy drinks nowadays. I mean, of course, I can't say I drank Jolt when I was a kid. So
if you look at that book and you say, yeah, his panel by panel stuff, his individual panels could be better in that book, but
I'll look at
his storytelling ability was phenomenal. Yeah, look at that.
Awesome. That is so cool.
And I think he colored that too. I think he colored the book too. Take a look at the credits. Did he color that?
So JC,
cover art.
I'm gonna keep
full color by Jay Brown and Tech Effects.
Oh, okay. All right. So no, I was wrong.
I loved in this one when we just did this one not too long ago. This is what I loved was there's it's unusual to have this many panels on one page.
Yeah.
And the fight scenes were like choreographed.
Yeah.
They were.
He really thought about it. And in some of them, I was there, and we sort of we used models and acted them out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because he had to work really fast, so we didn't have time to shoot reference photos.
Oh wow. So, JC, do you think that a petition or letters?
No. Universal has upped significantly what it costs to get a license. And
Okay.
what this would take is, one, nobody else having the license. I don't know that that's the case right now.
Yeah, only
Two,
person I think would have it would be.
sometimes companies get licenses just to sit on them, which is unfortunate. But it does nothing to do with Galactica. Sometimes it's just part of their business plan. So nobody else can do a book. I don't care for that way of thinking. Um, uh, but one of the things about it is it's going to take somebody with the right amount of passion for the project and the right amount of money to make the license happen, and then hearing that the fans are behind it. And it's unfortunate that we can't take the first step of the fans being behind it and use that first, because we could get that easy. You
Right.
guys,
Yeah,
other Galactica fans,
there's no way to crowdfund it.
we are a small but hearty lot.
Yeah.
We're still pretty into it.
Yeah.
And I think, as if when you see people from the show popping at conventions, they've still got lines, right?
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
And and um, I think that as these companies that were already big become even more corporate, it's hard for those of us who are fans to realize just what a thing and a widget it is to them. And I don't say that with any disdain. It's just the fact.
It's just a
This
fact.
is
That's how they
these are
make it. Yeah.
if you find somebody at that company who loves this thing too, you're incredibly fortunate, because most of it's
Hmm.
not like that. It's their job and they don't care.
Wow.
Well,
What about
me.
crowdfunding? Is there? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
you recently
listen,
crowdfunded a book.
yeah,
Um,
one of the things about this is, I believe that if you have the license and you are permitted under your license to do crowdfunding, a lot of companies won't let you do
yeah.
that. Because they think it denigrates their property, which I think is the exact opposite
Jeez.
of the truth.
Exactly.
Um, but I think that if we were to do Battlestar Galactica and we were to include in our budget, part of it would be, funding some high end editions that were
Right.
limited editions, that kind
Yes.
of stuff like that. Uh, I can't imagine we couldn't reach our goals if we were even marginally realistic.
Oh,
Right.
100% we would. There's no question.
So
You're
I'm
spot
lost.
on, because
What's our
we've
What's
been
our first
testing the
step?
waters, right, Chris?
Yeah. What's our
We
first step? Where do we go? I'm excited. I want to do this.
Well,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, it's one of those things where I put out feelers periodically about this, because you know I generally would rather break even doing my own stuff than write somebody else's property that I'm never going to own. There are a mere handful of things that I set that rule aside for.
Well, we do know
Galactica,
somebody who owns Pegasus.
Galactica being one of them. We also, our experience writing with Jim Kohoric, who was sort of switching roles with Mark. Jim's the publisher for uh, uh, American Mythology, and we did Stargate Atlantis and Stargate Universe for him. And and Stargate Universe is sort of near and dear to me, because I didn't like it at first.
I loved it. I'm
See,
rewatching it as we speak.
I sort of hated it at first, and
Oh,
there was only one reason I kept watching. And contrary to popular belief, it was not for the occasional Gary Jones appearance. As Gary's a great guy, by the way, but it was because my friend Ming Na Wen played Camille Ray.
Oh,
oh, excellent.
Yeah, we went to high school together, and
Oh, no kidding. Great
yeah, so
character.
yeah,
Great actor.
yeah, and so she went to Comic Cons with us when we were kids, and
Oh, wow.
she's a legit geek, which is cool. But she's also a hellaciously great actress.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is awesome. Yeah. So look, JC, bottom line is, it's going to take someone on your level with the support, I think, of your gang, the fans. We're here, And Chris and I have talked about this before. This is our time. As a matter of fact, we had
Yeah,
Eric
we
Larson.
ain't getting any younger.
No,
Amen.
and Eric Larson, we did a tribute to his father. We were lucky enough to get UNESCO involved, so we did a tribute to Glenn, and Eric came on, and Eric is behind stuff too, if that means anything uh, to the
I
world.
think that means more in the live action venue,
Hmm.
because to like somebody like Universal or whatever they're called now as part of some huge conglomerate, um, to them, like I said, this is just a widget in terms of licensing. But flip that around when it comes time to market it, when it comes time to do messages to fans, to do Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever you do, a word, favorable word from him on that kind of stuff. Like that's when you bring in that kind of firepower, and that
Yeah.
ends up doing what you always hope it will do, which is pouring, kerosene or gasoline on the fire.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you get the deal because Universal controls it. They don't
Right.
they don't need his yay or nay from it. But looking for legitimacy, it sure wouldn't hurt us. So there's that kind of thing. I think one of the things that would be great for Galactica is, well, just to put it bluntly, I agree with you. This is our time. There's not a lot longer that we are going to be of the age group that's going to be an effective force to drive something like this.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
our every one of us, our time on this earth is limited, and I think that there are more important things in life, but I also think it's important to tease and exercise your brain and with your stories and imagination. And science fiction has always offered us the opportunity to sometimes directly and sometimes obliquely talk about issues that we would find it hard to talk about if we were speaking about them directly, where an audience comprised of people who agree with us, who disagree with us, and don't care about any number of issues, all of a sudden we have an opportunity to tell them a story about our viewpoint, or even challenge our own viewpoints in the form of a story. And science fiction has always offered us that. Galactica is no different in that regard. Yes, it is an action oriented show, and we call it running, jumping, shooting, um, and that's what action oriented things do. But that doesn't stop it from having great character moments. It doesn't stop it from having lessons. It doesn't stop it from having an actual moral philosophy. While slightly hard to describe, it was still nonetheless present. And and basic good versus evil, which you know frankly, entertainment could use a little bit more of clear cut good versus evil. We've
Yeah.
gone pretty well into the everything's muddy and gray, and sometimes it works brilliantly. But when everything's like that, it gets a little boring.
I mean, they even try to do that with uh, your superheroes. They dirty them up.
Right.
Oh, sure, absolutely. And some of that is that we grow up with this, and we want the heroes and stories to become more complex with us. Every time you hear Universal, and much as I love Universal because they did Galactica, every time they talk about doing $6 Million Man, they think it's a comedy.
Ah,
Oh boy, they don't get it.
Every time they talk about it,
They don't get
and
it.
they totally don't get it. We recognize analytically that
ah,
when Steve Austin goes to take the lug nuts off a wheel and it makes the air hammer sound, we recognize that that's hysterical. My mom used to die laughing when that happened. I remember when I was watching that when I was a kid. But sorry about that, Chris. But we would do it deadly serious. They'd
Right.
have some humor in it, but the humor would be Bond like, where Steve Austin was the
Exactly.
one making the jokes.
yeah.
You
Um,
get it. Yep.
when we were doing Realm Press, we had a $6 Million Man pitch,
Oh no
and
way.
What?
we had about 3 or 4 pages drawn, Mike Malbrough, and it opened with Steve Austin face down on a bar. and
Ooh,
and it
that's
was,
good.
and literally everything had fallen apart, and it opened with him face down on a bar because his body mass is not there, so he would drink himself under the table very quickly
Mm-hmm.
because he no longer had the legs, he didn't have an arm, and so he's drinking for the torso only.
Ooh,
And you might say this is a 200-pound man. Well, yeah, 100, 50, 80 pounds of it is machine. Okay,
nice.
so he's face down on a bar, been kicked out of the OSI, uh, and it opens with the phrase "Steve Austin, a man barely alive."
Oh, that's cool.
That's
And it
awesome.
was, and basically what we did was the pilot for the guy that took his place. And in those days, we were talking about the Gulf War, and
Right.
it was the pilot for the $6 billion man.
Six.
Oh boy,
That's awesome.
loving.
It literally had Steve Austin's legs shearing apart when he was running. We there was oh man, we had so much freaking great stuff in that,
What
and I
happened?
look back, they didn't bite. They didn't want to give us a license, and
Talk about
and
missed
So,
opportunity.
so let me understand. To get the license, you have to write for the license. Okay.
no, no,
Okay. I was just making sure.
we did that to make sure that because we were a very small company. Uh, if we were going to spend the money on another license fee, we went and we wanted to make sure we had a story to tell.
Right.
And so
That makes
that was
sense.
mainly me writing, though Mark was throwing in a lot of stuff, and so was Jim. Jim Korik, huge $6 Million Man fan. Matter of
Wow.
fact, when he calls me, the ringtone is the Bionic noise.
JC, what happened with the unpublished material? There is a colonial, a technical journal that was drawn.
All right. After I left Realm, I was getting more involved at work, and Mark and Jim wanted to go a certain way with the company, and some of the guys they were aligning themselves with. Sorry, I got a cough here. um, they I don't know what happened that they had a falling out. I don't want to say anything bad about anybody.
Of course not.
Um, there is some
Yeah.
brilliant artwork for it, just freaking great looking. But I don't think that there was enough of it. I was removed from the situation by that point, working on a lot of stuff for the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide and other projects. Um, and by that point, Mark and I uh, we were pitching writers on Star Trek Voyager, and so I don't know everything that happened, and truthfully, I don't know that those guys will talk about it. Maybe they will,
Yeah, we never know.
but it was. I know that there was unhappy feelings on both sides, but I don't think it was finished.
Hmm.
A lot of the artwork
And it
is
was
actually,
disappointing because did what you saw, did it not look great?
it
Oh,
looks awesome. A lot of it is out there. And
Yeah,
I reached
I
out.
think some of it got finished after the fact, and I think some of it, but I don't know all the reasons, and I shouldn't speculate.
I think some of it was
There's
leaked.
some beautiful cutaways of certain, parts of the various shit, the Galactica, the bridge, the
As
bays.
as a guy who remembers the day he first saw the Star Trek technical manual, I know what I wanted that thing to be. Even though I wasn't involved anymore at that point, I absolutely was geeked out and wanted to see it.
Wow. It missed opportunities because that thing would have sold like hotcakes. I mean,
I tend to think that I actually think it would sell better now than it would have
Yeah,
back
you're
then because
probably right.
there's so many different little format things that we could do now. If you
Yeah.
took that same comic, say it was a 32-page comic, right, and put that out as a little hardcover,
oh,
Well, I mean,
you could kickstart that all day.
yeah, I think
oh
they're
yeah,
just
in
coming
a
out with
heartbeat.
the is it Hero is coming out with the Battlestar Galactica ships
Yes.
manual coming out
Yeah.
soon,
Yep.
There's
where
just
they talk about how they came
okay.
out with the ideas.
What does that tell you? Except that people still love this stuff.
Oh yeah, well,
Yes.
Eagle Moss has got all of the stuff. I've got every single one of them.
Daggett's coming out.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Daggett's coming on. Yeah. The
Now-
actual hero of Battlestar Galactica.
Did
And
you guys
can't
get?
change
Did
my
you guys
mind.
get to? Did you guys get to the care and feeding of your Daggett story?
That one I
yes.
just ordered. I didn't know I was missing it until I just found it on eBay.
Okay, Barry Lyga, who wrote that, is a hugely successful YA novelist now.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
absolutely.
Young adult, huh?
He was at Diamond. He was the first in-house shepherd of Free Comic Book Day, the event each year.
Yeah.
And then he basically rolled the dice and got out there and sold a number of novels, and some of them are pretty freaking great too.
Yeah, I think the front cover for that the novel with the How to Care and Feeding Your Daggett has this on the front cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the wraparound cover for our first trade paperback.
Oh.
Oh boy.
And so they cannibalized that out of necessity when after I left.
Actually, let's get a big shot of that.
There you go. That's beautiful, though.
Matt Bush, man. Matt was a kid when Galactica came on and started drawing Galactica. If you look in the back of Eve of Destruction, you'll see Matt drawing the Galactica stuff on his bathroom mirror as a kid.
Hang on, we'll show that.
Oh, we'll show it.
And one of the great things for me, I'll after you show that, I'll tell you one of my favorite stories about Eve of Destruction, and particularly the Zack story.
He's right.
There it is.
That's little Matt Bush, who of course is a freaking great artist, art teacher, filmmaker, super talented guy. Lately even woodwork. He just posted some great floor photos, but super talented guy.
JC, for our fans that are just tuning in, just want to give a heads up that we finally got the JC Vaughn. He's here with us, and I mean he's done all the Battlestar Galactica stuff and the Stargate essay book on stepping through the Stargate science, archaeology, and military and Stargate essay.
Wow, you're pulling out all the stops.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey, let me tell
we're
you,
big fans.
we're fans.
Pete's the
And
big
something
Stargate guy. I just been
I
rewatching it
love
lately.
Stargate Universe.
Yeah,
Big Stargate
he and I
Universe fan.
equal out. So what I don't like, he likes, and what he doesn't like, I like usually. So
Very nice.
he's not a big
Yes.
Logan's Run fan. I'm the Logan's Run fan guy.
Okay.
This is the compilation, Volume 1. It's kind of rare, and
Yeah, it
I
is.
have
It is, and it sold that one. I will say for a small press publisher, that trade sold really well. SGU was the hardest to do because almost everybody in the cast has likeness approvals.
Has what?
They get to
Oh,
approve.
likeness. Likeness.
Yeah, they get to approve their likenesses.
there it is,
And
written by.
JC.
and
Vaughn.
we had a lot of fun doing that.
This is incredible, and being a big SGU fan, when this finally came out, JC, this was incredible, and the idea of the ship is vast, and for them to just find the ancients was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, and we had a second story and more to tell. Like for instance, one of the things that we learned on SGA was that there was a deleterious effect of being, in suspended animation that long. How were we going to deal with that? And I'm not going to talk about it because there's maybe some chance, small but still hopeful, that we'll get to do some more.
Yes.
I'd like to explain
So-
how they weren't affected by that, or to what extent they were.
Awesome. Oh, awesome.
Now,
Yeah.
did you get the Stargate Atlantis Stargate Universe anthology books? Because
I
there were
think
four
those are the ones I
individual-
was hunting for. I'm not sure.
There were 4 individual issues of those. There's
Oh, those,
one shot and then 3 issues.
Yeah, those are the ones I got for him at Mile High Comics, I think.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it was.
there's one shot and three of what was going to be the ongoing before the license term ran out. And I had a great bit of fun. I actually uh, wrote most of those solo, the anthology ones. I wrote most of them solo, um, and I love that cover.
I have it out. Hold on. I want to show this off because everybody, right? This is just for the record, right? See the Vaughn here in the middle? JC
Yeah,
Vaughn, that's who we're talking to, guys. This happens to be, you guys should all know, Stargate Universe. I love Stargate Universe, and we're really lucky to have Jason Vaughn with us. Thanks everybody that joined us. Let's see, Razor Ramon and the rest of the guys that are here live. Thank you for joining us, JC. So, um, how how did you? I mean, you earlier you mentioned that you didn't really, and you weren't an aficionado of Stargate Universe. You weren't that big of a fan of Stargate Universe, and then somehow, somewhere, you're all in it.
yeah, absolutely. One of the things that happened, and I was impressed with this. I honestly believe that they learned the production team learned the wrong lessons from Battlestar Galactica, the newer version, and that was Galactica gave us something to like about the characters before they gave us stuff to not like about them.
That makes sense.
Okay, SGU went straight to not like.
What a shame.
They made Eli the
I
only
see what you're
likable
saying.
character.
Yeah.
They made
Yes.
Eli the only likable character, and then you had to fight your way through. And Rush was condescending, and the Colonel wasn't quite like a gung ho military man, but he was willing to fight Rush, and it's just a whole bunch of screwy stuff, right? And what I discovered was at the end of the first season, something in my heart had changed a little bit about it because I think they really were starting to get into some good stuff at the end of the first season. And by the end of the second season, I was so depressed that show was canceled
Yeah.
because they were, you know, I alluded to this before. There's an element of science fiction TV shows and movies that are just running, jumping, shooting,
Yeah.
and
The action.
we were actually going to see some actual science fiction actually occurring if they had been a season 3 of that.
Ooh.
And I really think that they did a huge disservice to the fans of not giving us an ending.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
or better yet, continuing and then eventually giving us an ending.
Right.
I ended up really loving the complexity of it. They peeled away some of the unlikability and got us back to where we could like some of the characters, even if they were flawed, which
Right.
they all were. Hey, they're human beings. And it's something that we would have seen in the original Galactica if it had lived. You know, it would have had to have grown more sophisticated, or it would have just turned into how do we beat the Cylons this week?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Right.
You know,
It,
and
I think the
so
book
that's
had.
that. Those are just some thoughts.
Yeah, I think the book had some. Like we went through the books, and there's a lot of sophistication stuff, a lot of more sophisticated stuff inside the books, like shields and things like that were not introduced into the show, mainly because it just they didn't have time and things
Yeah.
got cut. So, but there was shields and there was other items inside the books that really would have been really good on air.
And
But
let's face it. The introduction of the light ship and
yeah,
those characters, and the slightly ambiguous religious nature of those characters.
slightly.
Um, well, because they weren't. The great thing that Galactica did was muddle things by talking about the Lords of Kobol
Yeah.
as if
Monotheism
they
and
were
yeah,
gods rather than just very successful humans.
right.
Um, but at the same time, it was clear that their faith was monotheistic. So it was a really interesting blend, and it offers a lot of storytelling possibilities to again talk about stuff that people would maybe blanch at if you were talking about it in earthly terms.
Mm-hmm.
I think that my love for that shows in the second story in Eve of Destruction, which is about Zach,
Yes.
and
Where the
and I had
that was a great story too.
I had a
It's
dinner
like
and
a dream
I
sequence.
had
Yes.
dinner with Richard Hatch and John Colicos and
Oh,
a couple other people at a convention we went to in Fort Washington, PA, and we talked about and Richard was still at that point trying to bring Galactica back himself,
Yeah.
right.
and we talked about it, and I just pitched him my whole theory about Zach being one of the people of the light,
Oh,
and he was just like, "We can get Rick Springfield."
really?
Yeah, he was like it was like he was pumped up about it. Now, Richard was very good at keeping people cultivating their interest, but he seemed genuinely taken with it. We had several discussions about it. If the thing had gone, who knows what would have happened. Um, but I think that they would have been key at various signposts on the way to Earth, and not present in every episode or anything else like that, because that would get
Right.
pretty freaking ponderous. But you know,
Almost
what
like a
could have
cue.
been, what should have been,
Yeah.
whatever.
Almost like a cue
But
in
it's
the
still a
Star
lot of
Trek type
fun,
thing.
and one of my dear friends was with us at that convention, and he thought I could have quit then in my career because I introduced him to John Colicos. So
And was that wasn't the one of the reunions, was it? The twin
no,
reunion?
this was a show in Fort Washington, PA, that was
Okay.
supposed to have 6,000 attendees that had 600.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
Ooh.
and
Ouch.
one great story that came out of this, actually. I gotta wait till the guys are on to do most of these stories, because that show by itself will fill an episode for you. But Jim and Mark and I sold a combined $47 worth of
ooh.
comics at that show.
Ouch.
And we had a hotel bill, and we paid to fly my buddy Kevin in to help us sell. So we had to eat that. But for our $43, Kevin sold $557. So we literally ended up making $1 ahead for everybody at the show. Richard had a guarantee. We were the only other people who made money at that show.
Wow, that's crazy. I met
Yeah.
Terry Carter, Colonel Ty, at
Oh,
a
that's great. I've loved
similar.
him since McLeod, man. I've loved him.
Oh yeah, great actor and a great person. I met him at a similar failed convention,
Yeah.
and I know what that's like because it was
It-
the same
The
thing. They
funny,
expected like 5,000, and it was like 200 people showed up.
yeah, the funniest thing is this
Robert said he
absolute
was at that show.
this absolute disaster of a show is the source of many of my favorite stories in my career.
Oh, one of our
Yeah,
fans was there with you.
really? Oh, that's
Yes,
great.
Robert Baum. Thanks for joining us, Rob.
No kidding. Wow. All right. Excellent.
Oh
You know,
man.
it all started. It all started when we pulled into the hotel they had us set up in. That's a stay in, not where the show was, and it was called. It was like an unaffiliated hotel that was still under construction, called the Cherry Tree. But literally from outside of it, we started calling it the Cherry Pit. And
Oh,
And it was
Oh boy, goes downhill from
the
there.
Put Motel 6 to
not all,
shame, huh?
not all downhill. Like for instance, the shuttle failed to show up, so we had to give Linda Harrison a ride to the show.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
And she got out of the car, and Mark looked at me and said, "And all the kids will learn to talk."
Oh boy, this is good stuff. Uh, JC, we really have enjoyed your company, and you're a fan like we are. You're a
I am.
professional in the industry. You've done so many things we didn't even touch upon. Could you
Right.
please tell us a little bit about any of your upcoming, um, whether it's projects or anything you're leading, and also can you tell us a little bit about the state of affairs in terms of the logistics of getting your projects out?
Sure, absolutely glad to do so. First thing coming, I've got a lot of stuff coming in 2022, which will make up for not a lot of stuff in 2021. Um, it I've been working a tremendous number of hours on a book called The Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide to Lost Universes. It is a brand new kind of price guide from Overstreet, and it is half price guide, half photo journal. Every
Oh,
comic that is in it is pictured,
nice.
and it is everything from imprints that didn't last to publishers that have come and gone, and in some cases come again. We've got original Milestone, original Valiant, Defiant. We have the Archie MLJ superheroes that have been around in 6 different incarnations since the 1940s. We've got all sorts of great interviews and things in there to punch it up and give it context. And it is I think a template for many books that we will do in the future. So I've really been burning the midnight oil on this to the to the detriment of my own side projects on the side. But like I said early on, I'm one of these guys who's lucky enough to have a day job that I happen to love. So I'm not always looking to escape it, unlike a lot of creative folks. Also on the docket for early next year, May, which I think will be May 7th, the first Saturday in May, Free Comic Book Day, will be the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Comics. It's a brand new 48-page comic about collecting comics, and it's sort of fun. Got some very talented contributors, and that'll be followed in July by the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide number 52, uh, which is the annual thing that we do. And on my own or with other creators, I just wrote a story for Kent Menace that I think will be coming out. I think from Realm Press. No, Realm Press. Listen to me. American Mythology. Um, um, and I just wrote a short story for that that I think Dan Lawless is drawing, which I'm pretty excited about. I don't know if I should say that or not. And then um, going to do some Kickstarters. I've got
Oh,
the next Vampire PA, which is called Al Capone Vampire,
oh,
uh, and it's a sequel to the last one shot I did, and it looks like it's going to be a 4-issue miniseries with a Kent Menace backup story by Scott Braden, and it is. I'm going to do that. I've got another thing that I can't yet talk about, but that'll definitely be another crowdfunding project. I have a couple of other things in the pipeline at various stages. And one of the things that has occupied my time that doesn't show any productivity yet, because it hasn't happened, is I've got a pilot with Mark Haynes at Roddenberry Entertainment,
whoa, whoa,
and which is pretty darn cool. I was a pitching writer on Voyager, didn't sell anything. Mark did Voyager and Enterprise, and
sweet.
and like I said earlier, he's a Star Trek fan from way back, and as am I. So being involved with Roddenberry is extremely cool to us, just on the geek level, and yet to be doing it professionally is a lot of fun. And the one thing I did have come out last year, though I worked on it the previous year, was my novel Second Wednesday, and I'm slowly working on the sequel to that.
Oh, fantastic.
Which would have been what, third Tuesday?
It is. It is. And, you know, it's funny. I don't have the title for it yet. I do believe that there's a number in the title, but I don't think it's about a day. Um, the fun part for me is it is set in my hometown, my adopted hometown of Hurst, Texas, and I've decided to become Hurst, Texas's Jessica Fletcher. In recent years, the murder rate there has skyrocketed to something in the like 3/4 of a person a year.
How do you do
Um,
that? How do you kill three
and
quarters of a person in a year?
I don't know. You sort of grind them down, um, like a bad job. Um,
Yeah.
and what was particularly gratifying to me about this, after I've done all these Overstreet books over the years, so I mean, literally, I'm in the ballpark of 40 or 50 books that I've done, but none of them have been prose novels. And I dropped some really specific things about my hometown in the book, and the chief of police from Hearst wrote me a nice note like, "Hey, great book," and mentioned specifically one of the little elements. So I know he wasn't just being nice, which was really
That's cool.
gratifying. And so
That's
I did
cool.
that. I went and saw him last time I was home, and I got the tour of the
Oh,
police
nice.
department, and it was a blast. And I told him I'm still going to kill a bunch of people in your town, even if you're nice to me. So, but
He's not
yeah,
like,
Just in the
hey,
book.
there's a town
Just
next
in the
to
book.
me that. Why don't you go over there and kill some people?
well, it's great. I actually, the funny thing is I probably will do that because I like Hearst. I loved growing up there. So, and my mom still lives there, so I got to be at least nice to the police, right? Um, but I really appreciate you guys having me on, and I know we've sort of rambled because we didn't want to tell some of the stories
I just
that
have
we would
one
tell
one
with Jim.
question
Yeah,
before
please.
you leave. I gotta find it now. Where's that?
We have a cover that we want you to see. But in the meantime, while Chris is doing that, JC, your book, um, is it going to have the not the novel, but the other one
Lost
that
Universes,
I'm sorry?
the Lost Universes book. Is that the one you're
Yes,
talking about? Or yeah,
yes. When is that coming out?
February 16th is the on sale date. People can find it on. It is listed on Amazon,
Okay.
or it is also available at www.gemstonepub.com for advance order.
And this is going to cover what specifically, though?
We've got. I'm sorry, my I should have plugged in my computer. Uh,
Oh, you're fine.
my
Look at that. We talked so long we killed your battery.
How about that? And it's not in bad shape either. Um,
We're okay
the
with
Lost
that.
Universe,
We could keep
the
going
other
if you
comic
want.
website, the Lost Universes, will have um, multiple publishers or imprints that have come and gone, and sometimes come again. Starting with Atlas Seaboard and CrossGen and uh, all sorts of great stuff, all the way through Original Valiant. Some of these some of these publishers have dozens of entries, and some of them have hundreds. We'll have Marvel's New Universe in there, for instance. We'll have
Is Rel
Original
going to be
Valiant,
there?
which is probably about. Pardon?
Rel?
No.
It,
Um, I would say that would be too self-serving for me. Though we did get up to a second title, we did do Galactic of the New Millennium, which was I will take credit for that one because
Wow.
I really really wanted to do a second book.
That fades right into this
And
question.
I gotta say there's if we had succeeded and done the full story of Eve of Destruction, and that we did one story in Galactic New Millennium, Tales of the Pegasus,
Mm-hmm.
and we would have graduated to a Pegasus book.
oh, oh my
So
God.
Yeah,
that
So
leads
yeah.
into
I mean,
my question.
listen, this is a bunch of young 20 and 30-year-olds being overly ambitious. This is what this is. But yeah, we absolutely had dreams.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
I want to know, did this ever exist? I'm looking for this one. I've got every single one of the New Millennium covers. I've got all of the.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been
Absolutely. That's my
desperately
buddy
looking
Gene
for this
Gonzalez
one.
drew that.
So this
Yeah,
actually
that's
does
still out there.
exist.
I don't have all of them either.
I've got them. I got almost every one of them except for this one.
I have a bound volume that Brett Carreras, who runs the Virginia Comic Con, had a set bound.
Oh
And
wow!
he gave Jim and I copies. And it had every in life is full of frustration. He gave me a copy and said, this has now not all the variants, but it has every Realm Press Galactica issue. And then I said, except Eve of Destruction. My one book as the writer.
Oh boy! Oh
Yeah,
boy!
So this
it
does
still
exist.
listen,
I
it's
just
still
got to keep looking for it.
Yeah, it does. It
we
does
will
exist.
find it. We will find it.
And if somehow I find it, I'll be glad to share.
JC,
Oh, wait a minute. I got
any conventions that you're doing?
Uh,
What's next year look like?
I need the Eve of Destruction. I mean, I need the New Millennium. Come on, the Buddha Cylon will deliver.
The correct reply is by your command.
That's it.
By your command. Thank you. I think that I know I'll be at San Diego, if there is a San Diego, presuming there's a San Diego.
They're having it, but it's...
Well, I'm not talking this year.
Oh, okay.
Not the pretend. I'm not talking the pretend one.
Right.
And it's a pretend one.
We were supposed to do Overstreet's 50th anniversary, then the 51st anniversary. So now we're looking for our 52nd anniversary, and we'd still like to actually celebrate with friends and fans. So I will definitely be doing that. That'll be for work, not for me. Mm. I'm sure that I will do a small convention or two, but I've really reached the phase right now where it better be worth my time to stop writing.
Wow.
Like if I'm just going to go sit and twiddle my thumbs, I don't need to go to a convention just to be seen at a convention,
So you need to go to Dragon Con.
I won't go. It's funny. You have to have a perspective on where you are and, be humble and everything else like that. And the fact is that as a comic book creator, most people outside of Galactica, outside of 24, outside of Stargate, we go to the Stargate convention, GateCon, and we will do that next fall in Vancouver. Definitely doing that. In the few hundreds of people, best convention I ever had as a comic book creator, by far. Nothing even close. I'm not doing any more conventions where I have to ask to go to the convention, because most people who want me to come to a convention want me as the Overstreet guy, and I don't resent that because that's how people know me. But I am a comic book creator, and I would rather work on my own stuff than go out there and just sit at a table and hope that somebody stops by. If it's a place where I've got fans, like I do Free Comic Book Day around my part of Long Island every year, and I always get people coming out. That's great feeling. So not a waste of time. But if it's where I'm just like, I'd rather just go to a bar and talk Galactica with people.
Hell yeah, let's go. Don't take Pete though; he's a lightweight.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, dude, let me tell you, I graduated to lightweight a long time ago. I'm diabetic, so I got a half a glass of wine, and I'm like,
I'm designated driver.
There you go.
Carl?
So what part of you're in Massachusetts, right?
No, I'm in Long Island.
Long Island.
Yeah, Long Island. Yeah.
So my wife's from New Bedford, Somerset area, Mass.
Carl Cullenschmidt says, if you come to Houston, I'll give you a tour of Team PSG's Viper. I don't know if you've seen it, JC. It's a 1-to-1 scale Viper.
I have seen that, and that's excellent. The question is, can a guy from Dallas Fort Worth go to Houston? And the answer is, yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Eh, I don't know.
Um,
A little far
Maybe.
away.
Oh boy. Well, JC, all good things. Uh, you are always welcome as a fellow Galactican. Although I don't know if you're a colonial or a Cylon, it doesn't
Cylons
matter
rule,
here.
colonials drool.
I would definitely fall on the colonial portion, though I will say, as we started to tell in, I think it was number 3, one of those grand dreams that we just didn't get to, and it's no end of frustration, is we, in our book, we found the reptilian Cylons.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's
And there was so much more to do with that. There was so much more to do. And Jim was really onto something. Yeah, guess who's coming to dinner, I think, was the ad we did for that one.
Oh, that's so cool.
and I'm a
So-
firm believer that the Cylons should have stayed reptilian
Right.
in armor
Well,
suits.
I think getting destroyed by your own machines is a wonderful, wonderful storyline.
Yeah.
Right.
And particularly since it sounds like Count Ibley was involved in that,
Yeah.
since he
Oh,
was
yeah.
also the voice of the Imperious leader,
Yep.
and the voice that lured Baltar into it. See, that's just where I talk about that. I start talking about how rich this thing is.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
The backstories, and that's what we're going to get ready to cover next. Is the fans have gotten into the backstories. We're actually covering the Battle of Molukai. This is a fanzine.
Nice.
It's a book written
That's
by
great,
some
man.
fans that talking about the Kane's Battle of Molokai. So yeah,
The great stuff about this, that same Fort Washington convention, hanging out with Boj, and he and Richard were really tight. They knew each other from General Hospital, among other things.
yep.
And we really had the potential. Anne Lockhart, who's a great actress. You mentioned Terry Carter, who he's just so freaking likable.
Oh, yeah.
That's a thing you can't pay for. Politicians can't buy it, and if they've
Yep.
got it, they've got it, and if they don't, they don't. You can't learn it, and he's. I'm glad. I was so glad to hear you say he was a great person, because he's just so likable on screen.
Oh, no,
Um,
he is.
But Lloyd Bridges as Kane. I mean, gosh, come on,
Incredible. Incredible.
and 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 thank goodness that was before Hot Shots.
Very true.
Yeah, definitely.
I almost got 2 spit takes in the show. This is
That's it.
spectacular.
Hot Shots Part 2, and
We got to go for the third. The third's the magic.
yeah.
JC, we want you to come back. Please make some time for us. Let's work it out so that we can get the 3 of you here. Your other buddies.
Mark and Jim and me. We won't get anything done, but we'll have a great time not doing it.
Yeah.
We'd
just wanna
love
let-
to have you.
yeah.
We want to talk more Galactica. We talk more about the realm experiences and everything.
Yeah,
else
I
you guys
think one of the things I really urge you guys to do is when we do that, get Jim to talk a bit about Realm before we joined up, because he knows a hell of a lot more about that than we do.
Oh.
And then Mark can talk about it. I'll leave with one last story for the 3 of us.
Oh, please do.
A number of years after we crashed and burned, Jim found on eBay a one-of-a-kind Battlestar Galactica toilet seat.
I got you beat, but go ahead.
And he immediately circulated it to Mark and me. And Mark immediately started feeling nostalgic, like, oh, maybe we should try again. And at that point, which was only a few years later, I said, look, it fits around where the money went.
Oh boy, you got to see what Chris has. Uh, Chris has a very unique item that I would not show, but he's such a Silent Empire guy.
Yeah, I don't have
Uh,
a picture of it here, but yeah, I have a Cylon toilet paper dispenser. When you pull the thing out, the red eye goes back and forth, and it makes the woo woo sound.
That's great. That's entirely, listen, that's entirely absurd and worthy of a psychiatric seminar, but I totally get it.
Hi, my name's Chris. I have an addiction. It's called
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica. So if
Welcome,
anybody,
Chris.
That's when the sponsor says, wait a millisecond on here.
So all those people just joining now, just to let you know, JC Vaughn has said that he is going to revive Battlestar Galactica and doesn't need any of our
boy.
help whatsoever, and he's going to fund it himself. So
Put it
those
all
people
on
who are
my
joining
shoulders.
late,
That's great.
congratulations. Make sure you get a hold of JC and tell him how appreciative you are.
You know, you know what? Someday we're going to get a shot at this.
Well,
And
some days
I'd
today.
love it to be tomorrow. I'd love it to be tomorrow. But I really believe, well, there are those who believe, that almost got him, not
Yep.
quite. I just really think that we have an opportunity in the era in which we're living, where pop culture is so significant in the culture as a whole right now.
Yes.
If you guys think about when we were kids,
Yeah, you would have
we
never
were
thought.
we were the periphery.
Yeah, you would never thought all the movies that you've got for all the Marvel characters and everything, none of that would have happened.
As a matter of fact, I was having this talk at a comic shop today, and I said, we talked about a show, and I go, I don't really like it. And the 13-year-old me would be delighted that there would be enough comic book shows that I didn't have to like all of them.
Right.
Yep, that's right.
So
Yes.
we're in a place pop culture wise where this is the time to do it.
Yes.
So
now,
at any rate, hope we
I guess
can.
my question is, who do I have to kill to make it happen?
Well, one of the things about that is that on a show that's recorded and shown to people, we would never list the names,
Yes.
even in, like, say, Morse code. Um, but if there's people who stand in our way, things happen.
Yep. Cylons.
It's an
we got
imperfect
those.
world.
JC, we got your back. You're gonna do some Kickstarters. You got some books coming out. You're a fan. We're fans. We want to make sure that we keep an open door here for you. We want to have you back.
Glad to, guys. I'll be glad to drop you a line when we're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, Kickstarters, come back on. Let
I
us know.
do. I will. I do have one property I haven't mentioned, and it's called The Flight, and it's a completed science fiction. It was serialized online graphic novel, and we want to turn it into a print publication. So we've got to do some stuff. It's about the last survivors of the planet Earth, and it's sort of the opposite of Galactica. It's a ship from Earth. It's a ship from Earth going to another planet.
Oh,
I'm in.
And it's drawn by Brendan and Brian Frame, colored by some guys in Indonesia called House Amaji, and they do beautiful work. And we just need to reformat it, which is going to be tedious because it was done for online, so it's widescreen.
Okay.
And so we need to reorient some of it. It will probably involve some redrawing. But I don't like to do Kickstarters unless the book is already done, ready to be printed. And
Most people do Kickstarters to get a book made.
Yeah, I like to do it to get it printed.
That's great.
Okay.
And thankfully, I've got collaborators who have been great to work with and understanding of that approach. Um, and particularly now, where we're dealing with a lot of shipping and printing problems, getting stuff done on a timely basis, the same supply chain that's hitting everybody else. I'm I won't announce that we're doing that until we're ready to do it. So it may not fall in calendar 2022, but it's really good.
Oh yeah,
It's
let us
Ooh,
know.
and
excellent.
I think you guys would love it.
Oh yeah, let us know.
Outstanding. Well, we're here for you, and like I said, we're looking forward to the get together, right? So if we can get that to get together, we'd love to host you. We will have a blast. All the fans, I know everybody on that's on live, and all the Galactica fans and sci-fi fans that are going to watch this in syndication to the tune of a few thousand. Thank you. JC is going to be back, and we're going to have more questions. Right? This was just the beginning. So we will hopefully sooner than later, JC, have you back.
Yeah,
All right, terrific, guys.
this was great. This was fun. I mean,
Oh, we loved it.
can't believe we've an hour and 42 minutes and it doesn't feel like it
Well,
at all.
as I told you guys by email, the trouble is usually getting me to shut up. So,
Oh no,
Not a
no.
problem.
The
Not a
problem
problem here.
is that we don't want you to. That's the problem.
We love this. This is what we've been,
great, guys.
this is our
Well, thanks for
show.
having me on.
JC is about this. So we like to hear the behind the scenes, all that inside that you're giving us is what we're about. You know, these are hidden gems and stories that we were talking about getting together and having a drink and talking Galactica, but eventually between Chris and I and a lot of our fans, it ends up being, well, how did they come up with that? Where did that come from? And you're it. This is what we want to know.
There's the great stuff. The great stuff about this for me is that we're talking about work that I did 22 and 23 years ago, 21 and 22 years ago. And you can tell I'm still excited about it. And
Absolutely.
it was barely paying at the time.
Wow.
So we're not talking about something that I built a house out of or something like that. We're
Right.
talking about something that was a fan's passion carried out in a professional manner. I do, if you're not more professional 20 years later in your career, there's something wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
We could do much better now, even with the same story material.
Hmm.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons that I still have a few stories that I'm burning to tell. And
Yes.
like I said, I would generally speaking rather spend it working on if all things being equal, much rather work on my own material.
Right.
But this stuff still calls to me.
Yeah.
We love Galactica.
And then we like to say thank you for creating the universes and the stories that get us so much involved. Give yourself some credit
absolutely.
there in regards to the writing abilities that you have and the creativity that was granted to you by whomever, if you believe in God or whoever. That's fuels us. So as fans, thank you.
Amen, brother. I totally get it.
Yeah, thank you so much for what you do. But we are very thankful for your creativity and your abilities to write these stories. And thank you for sharing them with us. Some people just like, oh, it'd be a great thing to do. But you actually have done it. So as we like to say, fans fuel the fleet. And you are a fan and you have fueled many of our imaginations and many of our nights of what would happen is, oh my gosh, we read this. So much enjoyment that we've gotten from the books that you've done and the comics, and thank you. That's all I can say.
Thanks, Chris, and thank you, Pete. Thank you both for having me on. I look forward to further discussions. Thanks to everybody who tuned in and watched. And I agree about your observation. I know that's your regular toast of fans fuel the fleet. But here's the thing. I can tell you as a writer, I'm gonna sit here writing no matter what. There's some stuff that I do write for other people, but a lot of it is just stuff I got to get out of my head. That's just whatever it is that I'm built that way. I know other writers don't think that way. I know other writers who do. It is really encouraging to be talking about something I did that long ago, that we did that long ago. and to know that I'm still friends, like good friends, with these guys.
That's great.
We also worked with a bunch of people, most of whom still like us, even though we were writing checks or not writing checks to them.
Right.
I mean, when you're an editor, you hire and fire. And the fact that most of these guys I'm still friends with, I take that as a great thing. Um, we have it's fan based. It's the camaraderie of being in the trenches with somebody. Um, Mark and Jim are two of the great guys in my life, and we've been through it together, and we've stayed friends, and that's you got to celebrate that.
That's definitely says
Absolutely.
something there. Yeah, that's you've been through the trenches. You've been, and you have each other's backs, and then that's what a
Yeah,
fandom does too. So the
yeah.
fans, there's that's what fans do. We hold each other accountable. We hold each other. We encourage each other, and we make sure that they, we increase the fandom. I mean, we go out and tell other people.
You guys have witnessed enough of what folks call toxic fandom out there, where
Yep.
everything is
Yes.
critical. And right from the earliest part of the broadcast, you guys were talking about how all Galactica helps there be more Galactica.
It,
And man, there are so many nitpicky fans in
that's not canon.
every in everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel so fortunate when I get around people who just love the thing. And it doesn't mean that you can't be critical of an episode.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, to me, I'm like Gun on Ice Planet Zero. Wait till the planet rotates. Okay.
Well,
Really
if you
sort of
read the
pokes a hole
book,
in
it's
that plot,
different, by
right?
the way.
Yeah.
You read the book,
Oh
it's
yeah,
not a
absolutely. I
it's not a
remember it.
planet. It's
I
an
I
asteroid.
remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and there's listen, man, we can all spot the incongruities, the inconsistencies, and things like that. The fans' role is like the Marvel No Prize. The No Prize came when you wrote in not for spotting the error, but for giving them a fix for it.
Right. Find a
And
solution. Don't
There
create the
you go.
problem.
yeah,
That's
and
it.
and and to me that being the fan doesn't mean you lap up whatever people put out. It means that you're starting from a place of being in favor of something.
Agree.
There you go.
Well,
So say we all.
All right,
so
guys.
say we all. Thank you again, fans for the fleet. Here's to you, sir.
Here's
Thank you
to
so
you.
much for what you've done,
L'chaim.
and we
Thank
look
you,
forward
JC.
to
The next
hearing
one.
more. Yeah.
I look forward to it, guys. See you soon.
Thanks
Take
a lot,
care.
JC. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh man, unbelievable. I told you that we had a Realm Press bigwig from back in the day, and we delivered, man. You cannot say, Chris, come on. The
Yeah.
stories that we just heard, the information that we got,
And you can tell
doesn't
he's a
get
true
better than that.
fan. That's the great thing.
You
Is
know what? I,
he's a
it
true
only gets
fan.
better
Yeah. Go ahead.
if we can have the three of them.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be.
Oh
We'll just
boy.
sit back and
Oh,
watch.
oh, yeah, exactly. Just let them tell the stories. This is what we're always talking about. Like, what if they did this? What happened to that? Why was this? Where did that go? Well, guess what? This is it. We got the guy right here, right?
Yep.
From the horse's mouth. Man, unbelievable. Loved it. And Razor Ramon and Paul, Mediocre Modeler, everybody that joined us live, and Carl says, "Flush by your command." And we had a whole
That's
bunch
from
of
the
jokes going
toilet
on
paper holder.
while you're talking about the toilet paper thing that we didn't get to. Sorry, guys. But
Here you go.
yeah,
Here's a good one.
best show ever. Yeah, Mediocre Modeler working on a whole bunch of stuff. And for those of you that didn't get a chance to watch, Mediocre Modeler had his first live broadcast, which I got to watch, which is fantastic. So if you're into model building, creativity, 3D printing, customizing, Mediocre Modeler is the one you got to go step in and watch. And he's a big Galactica fan as well.
Yep.
So thanks for joining tonight, Matt. Really appreciate that. Um, and Paul Roder, of course, the one and only, known throughout the fandom, with us live as well. Chris, we have just enough time, I think, to
Yeah.
push through
Push through book two
chapter
or
two
chapter two. Let's do
of the
it.
Battle of Molokai. All
Dun,
right,
dun,
so guys, we
dun. Hang
started
on.
this last week,
Battle of Molukai.
and this is a
So we should do
fantastic
a.
story.
Should
It's
do a.
a
Hang on.
fan.
Ready. Hang on.
Battle of Molokai. That's not going right.
Battle of
It's
Molokai.
written
That's
by
not it. The Battle of Molokai. That's not it.
The Battle of Molokai. That's
Quit
close.
fooled
I like that
around.
one. The
Yeah,
Battle
yeah.
of Molokai.
Oh boy,
That
get it
one's
out of
better.
your system. All right. Yes, Lee Gold and Sharon Monroe wrote this many, many years ago. It's talked about in a lot of the Galactica circles. Even I've known about this. I had actually not picked it up at a convention back in the day, only because I was still hunting down, the magazines like Star Logs and some of the other ones that I had missed. So I was always looking, especially for Starburst. For those of
You
you
know,
that are familiar
stuff
with
like
the
this.
British. Oh my God, purple and orange. Yeah. So we went ahead and read, of course, the next chapter,
Yep.
and this
Chapter
is
2 is
all
really
about
good, by the way.
Cain. So, yeah, it's good.
So what'd you think,
It's
Pete?
really good.
This is the first time you're. This is like the third time I've read it. So this is the first time you've read it. What did you
Yes,
think?
awesome. I I mentioned it last time, guys. For those of you that haven't read it, it's worth your time. So if you follow along with us, or when you see this, it's online. Just look it up. There's a PDF
Yeah, I
of
think I
it,
put a
and
link to it. I'll see if I can put a link to it in
yeah,
the
put a link
chat.
to it because it's well written. I mean, really well written. The story and the story arcs, and everything that goes into building background stories and linking all this into a bigger event series of events. Very well done. I hope someday we can get Lee Gold and Sharon Monroe on here because I definitely want to know where they got this the ideas from. But chapter two, right? So Battle of Molokai is it predates Battlestar Galactica. This is the backstory to the Pegasus and what happens to Commander King, but also we also know from our beloved show that Boj, right? That Boj ends up on the Pegasus. Well, in this story, we find out how that came about, and it's really really cool. So that actually plays out in chapter two, right? So where we left off, right, last chapter was that there was an explosion. It's in one of the bays. Sheba almost gets killed, and this is on the eve of the fleet. There is a fleet that was sent to one of the distant areas of known colonial space, and the Pegasus Battlestar is going to be the flagship of this fleet. Although there are two other battle stars, the Olympus and the Britannica, that are going along with this, massive fleet to go out and see if they can show a colonial presence and hold off the Delphian Empire from, continuing to expand. And so, Kane mentions that he sees it as a better thing because the Delphians can be a buffer between the colonies and the Cylons that are continuously growing. So anyway, that's more or less where we left off, and it picks up right away um, with the Pegasus and uh, being that some of the pilots were taken out with this explosion on the Pegasus, they need to get quick replacements. There's not enough time to call them up because Commander Kane can actually pick the best pilots graduating from the various academies. So in this chapter two, they mentioned which I think would have been obvious to anybody that there's not just one military academy. And I believe in the books, um, it's mentioned that on Caprica has the best military academy, but there are others. And so Kane can pick the best graduates of the academies, but he needs replacement pilots. And lo and behold, some of the replacements are coming directly from the Galactica. And because this is a secret yet very important mission, Kane gets to tap into all these resources, and Adama puts together a list of volunteers, and there's an exchange with Apollo, and why Apollo decides to stay. That Adama wouldn't hold it against him if he wanted to go. So Boje leaves, so he transfers over, and
Right.
basically,
And
anybody
and Adama's
would
like,
want to go.
I'm surprised that you don't want to go on the ship with the legendary Commander Kane. It's only a temporary assignment, and he's shocked that they asked for volunteers to go over there, and of course now the Galactica just came in from I guess in being in the Navy, they came in from a float. They came in from a what word am I looking for? You go out on a float. You go out on a deployment. So you go out on.
Yeah.
They've just came back from deployment. So there's repairs that need to be made in the Battlestar Galactica. Everybody's going on furlong. They want to have, see their wives or girlfriends or whatever. They want to relax, and then they're asking, "Hey, who wants to go over there?" And
it's a TDY.
yeah,
temporary duty assignment.
duty.
Yeah.
So they ask him for a list, and of course the list comes up with Boje. He volunteers, but Adama's looking through the list in the book, and he's like, "I'm surprised I don't see my son on there. I mean, does he feel like he has to stay with his dad, or what's going through his mind?" And they have this back and forth a little bit in regards to, "Hey, did you, why don't you go over there?" And he says, it's like almost like a premonition, written in there for Apollo. Apollo's like, I don't think it's the right time. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Doesn't like, oh,
and
yep.
And
And
he mentions, which is great, a little bit of backstory to his character, that Apollo had actually been involved with a female pilot that didn't make it back,
right. And
which is interesting, right? They gave him a little more depth.
well,
in
that
the
they give,
story.
and they also give in this they also give a little bit more Zach.
Yes.
At this point, Zach is in the academy.
Yes, he's like a senior.
Yeah, he's like a senior in the academy. He hasn't graduated yet. They don't know where he's, what Battlestar he's going to go to. So
Yeah.
this is that, you get that little. It's really fun to have that prequel type information. Hey, we know what's going to happen to him. He's going to blow up because Cylons are going to just blast him out of the sky.
Oh,
fireball.
Stop it. You're gloating over death. But so we get a little bit of a time frame, Chris. So this is, at minimum, it's a year, it's more than a year, because Zach has a year to graduate,
right,
and then be assigned, and then he's on the Galactica when we pick up, right? So this takes place at least a year before what we see.
Before graduation from
At least.
So
right, but not that much.
And Apollo's not even a captain at this point. He's a lieutenant.
He's a lieutenant, yeah.
Yeah.
So so how, Chris, do they bring over the pilots from the Galactica to the Pegasus?
That's another great backstory that Susan and Lee put in.
Oh my God!
It's so they're like, okay, so Adam was like, okay, we'll take him over there, and then and Colonel Ty's kind of snippy, and
yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, and they're like, what, and Adam was like, what's going on with that? So Colonel Ty, everybody's gone, so there's not a lot of people left. So this makes sense that Colonel Ty kind of escorts him over to say, Later, once again, it's Boj. I don't remember the names. You might have to look them up for me, Pete.
Paris,
Paris and a female who has a twin sister,
Celeste.
Celeste, who has a
Yeah.
twin sister on the ship.
Celine
And
is my sister.
yeah, so he takes them over there on a shuttle because there's
Yep.
no transporters in this deal. So hang on, and takes him over in a shuttle, and he kind of hangs back, and Kane kind of sees him in there, and he's like, "What's going on?" He just, well, heck with that. So Kane kind of greets the people coming on. He looks them over, and you get a little backstory on each one of the characters. One of the characters, he looks at the characters and like, okay, well, I've heard of this. I've heard of Boj. He's, he's good. He's everything else. And then Celeste, what I've heard of her, and yep, she's got a sister here. And then Paris is, he describes him pretty much as almost a hot potato, a hothead, but a great pilot, a great person, but he wouldn't trust him with his daughter. So
Yes.
he selects Boj right there. So, you're going to be her. It's not like she could pick. He just automatically goes, oh, by the way, you're going to be her wingman.
Yeah.
So that's how Boj and her kind of get together. And of course, there's a little bit of information in there. How do they, they have to know each other really well to be, how each other are going to react. But anyways, they take some over there, and they kind of break, and then they tell Sheba. He tells Sheba, hey, take them to the pilot's quarters, and he goes off, and then we break back to the shuttle, and in the shadows, somebody steps out of the shadows finally, and it's Colonel Ty, and he approaches a female on the ship. The female is the XO of that ship. Her name is Cleopatra. Started with a K.
Yes.
And she is an ex-love,
Yes.
girlfriend love type thing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they know each other very well,
Very
intimately, and
Oh.
he goes up. Go ahead.
Don't forget that there's also some kind of friction between Colonel Ty and Commander Kane.
Well, that's because Commander Kane did not pick him for the XO position. He was going to go for, let's see, Colonel Ty was supposed to get his own command, but he didn't get his own command because the XO that he had took that position from Colonel Ty. So Colonel Ty did not get his own command. So Colonel Ty's a little bent, jealous, bent type thing. And the XO position was then taken over by his girlfriend, Cleopatra, which destroyed their relationship. And he refuses to work for
Kane.
Kane. So there's a really interesting friction there. And you kind of get that feeling also if you look back at the living legend in the show.
Yes.
You get that friction again where Colonel Ty is, it really explains that better by watching the show. You're like, oh, that's why he's so angry at Kane. He doesn't trust him. He thinks he's so it's really great. And I always thought Commander Kane was a danger to himself and the fleet. So even in the regular show, but so we get that interactivity, and then they she gives him a quick kiss on the like a quick kiss, not like a major passionate kiss.
No.
And they agree. They break ways. They, hey, this is the way it's got to be.
Yeah, which is so cool. So we got Colonel Ty. We get the Colonel Ty backstory, man. It was just awesome.
It's a nice backstory for Colonel Ty.
Oh, hell yeah. So the other thing then, so that leaves Chris. Basically, it just leaves the last part of the chapter, and that is the investigation. So that's obviously the other ball that was set in motion is investigating the explosion that nearly killed Sheba. And so Commander Kane has a major that's in charge of internal security, and he's investigating it, and they're trying to figure out what type of an explosive,
Right.
who may have said it,
Yeah, they think it's
how it was
thallium
set off,
based. Yeah, there's some
yeah,
kind of weird thallium based. But
and
they
what was the
also
purpose
go
of
ahead.
it, right? That's it.
Yeah, so they believe it's thallium based, and hey, they haven't been able to find anything. The key words in here where they've searched the other ships and didn't find anything.
Right.
So what's going to happen
I
next?
don't
We
know.
don't know. I mean,
I don't
but
know.
he
It gets
also
better.
mentions that Baltar has made surprise inspections
Yes.
throughout the fleet.
Yeah. Thanks,
So
Baltar.
Yep, the two battle stars, the Olympia and the what was the other one?
The Olympus and Britannica
Britannica and Olympia.
have set off.
Right. So
So Commander Kane,
yep. Go ahead.
he gives permission, and they take off.
So I'll catch up.
Yeah.
And the Olympia's commanding officer is like, oh, what? The flagship is not out front.
The flagship, yes.
Like, let's stick
Yeah.
that in.
Yeah. So it's great. So they're setting the whole thing up. I mean, we're just rolling through. That's chapter 2, guys.
Yep.
And we're
that's
not
probably
doing
what
it
ends,
justice. So for those of you that get a chance to read this, honestly, I haven't read it, and I'm reading along, week by week, and it's really, really good. I highly recommend, especially since we're all Galactica fans and it's out there in PDF. Go ahead. Next week we'll go to chapter 3. We have, more guests lined up. We have a few more that we're working on. So Talia Smooth probably say, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" Maybe when they first met, but let me tell you,
Hey,
yeah,
baby.
Colonel Time.
Wait. I got to have the right voice here.
Man. I'd serve with him.
How you doing?
He's not Darth Vader. Get rid of that. But yeah, and like I said to JC, I met Terry Carter at a failed convention, so I got to spend a long time, hours talking to the guy, and he's a really, really nice guy. So not only is he a great character, plays a great character, but Terry Carter as a person, fantastic, really, really nice guy. So I got glad that I got a chance to meet him in person and spend some time with him. So one of these days we're gonna do autographs, and everybody will show off their autograph collection.
That sounds
And
good. Yeah.
so we should do that. I know Robert Baum that came on. He actually has a good collection, I believe, of autographs, and a lot of the other guys too. So one day, let's do that. Let's compare the autograph collections. Autographs that we have from meeting them, not the cards, because I have a full set of the cards. We're talking about 8x10s that we got from meeting the various stars, and we'll exchange stories. And Chris, we said that with the assist possibly of our good friend Sean from Battlestar Bulletin Board, we're still going to try to plan a a viewing. We're going to do a private
Galactica
viewing.
80.
First episode of Galactica 1980.
That's right. We hate you so much. We're going to make you watch Galactica 1980 with us.
So, Sean,
one way to lose all of our likes and our followers immediately. Hey, by the way, we're going to do a Galactica 1980 rewatch.
Razor Ramon, you better be there. So we're going to do I think right now we're looking at maybe around Christmas time, we do a private viewing, and we get together and celebrate the end of the year, and
have a Christmas party.
Watching. Yeah. So let's see if we can put that together. I think we might have some fun with that.
Yep.
So,
all right,
Chris, any closing comments?
No, I was blown away with the amount of information we got from JC Vaughn, and gosh, I hope we can do something to get Battlestar Galactica back up in either comic book or something. I mean, if we start it somewhere, I mean, I really would love. Yeah, I like that. Prepare to drink while watching Galactica 1980.
Yes, we will.
But
Yes, we will.
it was great to have him on, and you know, I really appreciate his work, and I appreciate, once again, like I said, he's an amazing individual. He's very talented, and his talent has helped move the fandom of Battlestar Galactica forward, and I think that's a really a great thing. Just like, I mean, I don't want to demean any of our people that are here too. Every single one of the people that are listening, every single one of the people that follow us, you have something to do with moving the fandom forward too. It's not just one person that moves the fleets. The fans fuel the fleet. So it's great to have people on that are excited or as interested and I guess involved as we are, and willing to get the fandom moving forward. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Pete, for being a friend, best friend, and
Yeah, you got it, buddy.
and lining that one up. So that was a great great catch on that one. Pete did all that one for us. So thank you, Pete. And then like I said, we've got more stuff coming, and then stand by. We'll either we'll get something for you if you're interested in Battlestar or sci-fi or 70s or 80s. We're here for you. Let us know what you want, and we're going to try to get it to you. But once again, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Yeah.
What's up?
Listen, everyone. Thanksgiving is coming here in the United States. It's a big holiday, and we are going to put something out for you. So don't despair. We will have a show. I we're gonna have something for you. So
Yep.
we'll,
It may
we
be a
may not be
Wednesday.
able to do
It
we
may
may
be
not
Wednesday,
do
but it may
it
not be
live.
Thursday.
Yeah, it's not going to be on that day, but we will have something for you. So if you want to kick back after Thanksgiving, the traditional turkey dinner here in the States, we'll have something for you to watch from us. So stay tuned. It won't be live, but we will have something for you.
Yeah.
So
Baz, just go
everybody
out and eat a
stay safe.
kangaroo.
Yeah, well, no, okay.
It's not American, so Baz can go
It
eat a
tastes like chicken.
kangaroo for us.
Yeah, tastes like chicken. And everybody stay safe. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you. And for those that are live and joined us, thank you. And for those that watch us in syndication and the reruns, thank you for watching as well. Please stay safe and see you again real soon.
Yep, y'all. Fans feel the fleet. Here's to you again. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And hit the outro button. There we go.